Rein is a poor, neglected child who was forced to watch his family burn by the devil at a young age. The traumatic event left him orphaned and scarred, both emotionally and physically. Life didn't improve much afterward. He was taken in by the hero's party, but only as a slave. They saw him as nothing more than a weak, expendable tool, subjecting him to constant abuse and humiliation. Despite all the bullying he endured, there was something special about Rein. He was born with a natural talent for taming and communicating with various beasts, a skill that set him apart from others. This ability allowed him to understand and bond with animals, both ordinary and magical, making him a unique and valuable asset. Animals, sensing his kind nature, responded to him with trust and affection, offering him a rare sense of companionship in his otherwise lonely life. Despite his extraordinary abilities, Rein joined the hero's party, naively hoping to contribute to their cause and perhaps find some sense of belonging. However, his companions were about as perceptive as rocks. They saw him as weak and useless, failing to recognize the full extent of his powers. To them, he was just the scrawny kid who talked to animals, not the potential game changer he actually was. Rein's bond with the creatures he tamed provided him with solace and a semblance of friendship. He spent countless hours honing his skills, learning to communicate with and command even the most formidable magical creatures. His ability to form deep, almost telepathic connections with animals allowed him to harness their powers in ways others could only dream of. However, the hero's party remained blind to Rein's potential. Their arrogance and ignorance led them to overlook the treasure they had in him. They continued to belittle and mistreat him until the day they deemed him unnecessary and kicked him out, believing they had no further use for him. This betrayal was a significant turning point in Rein's life. Though he left the hero's party with nothing but the clothes on his back, he carried with him a burning determination to prove his worth. He ventured out on his own, fueled by a desire to unlock his full potential and show the world what he was truly capable of. Despite the harsh treatment, Rein didn't harbor resentment. Instead, he sought to prove his worth and unlock his full potential. He faced countless dangers and challenges, but his unique ability to tame and communicate with beasts always gave him an edge. Along the way, he met others who recognized his talent and value, forming bonds that would eventually lead him to a new path, one where he was no longer a neglected, abused child, but a powerful tamer with the strength to forge his destiny and protect those he cared about. As he traveled, Rein's reputation grew. Stories of the boy who could tame the fiercest of beasts began to spread, attracting the attention of those who sought his aid and companionship. His journey was one of self-discovery and empowerment, transforming him from a victim of circumstances into a beacon of hope and resilience. With each new bond he formed, Rein took another step toward building a family and a home, something he had longed for since the day he lost his own to the flame. Later that day, after he got kicked out of the hero's party, he sits on a park bench, thinking about how his team had mocked him over the past 6 months, and how he ignored the warning signs. 3 kids approach and ask him to show his ability. Since no one else cares about his powers, he agrees. Feeling validated by the group, he decides to become an adventurer and goes to the guild to register. Natalie, the receptionist, assigns him the task of slaying 10 goblins and collecting 20 medicinal herbs as his trial to officially become an adventurer. He heads to the forest, ready to tackle his first adventure. On the way, he somehow convinces a squirrel to help him find goblins, forming a rather unusual temporary alliance. With his new furry friend leading the way, they eventually stumble upon a group of goblins lounging around, indulging in their usual routine of eating and sleeping. Hiding behind a tree, he prepares his knife for a sneak attack, his heart pounding in his chest. Summoning every ounce of courage, he charges forward and slashes the throat of an unsuspecting goblin. Chaos ensues as the remaining goblins scramble to escape. Fueled by adrenaline, he leaps onto one, tackling it to the ground, and stabs it in the spine. The surviving goblins, now furious, grab rocks and sticks, ready to retaliate. Thinking quickly, he slashes the throat of another goblin and, with surprising accuracy, throws his knife at one more. The knife finds its mark, striking the goblin in the chest and ending its life instantly. Just when he's admiring the runes he collected from the goblins, feeling a rush of pride at his first ever achievement, a girl's scream pierces the air. Determined to flex his newfound, albeit shaky, courage, he dashes towards the sound. He arrives to see a massive killer tiger about to pounce on a cat spirit girl. The sight of such a powerful being in danger rattles him, but his desperation to impress overrides his fear. He leaps into the air, aiming his knife at the tiger's neck with all the heroics he can muster. However, his moment of glory shatters as the knife breaks into 2 without so much as a scratch on the beast. The tiger, now enraged, turns its fierce gaze on him. Thinking quickly, he urges the girl to use the distraction and escape while he frantically brainstorms ways to deal with the monstrous feline. To his astonishment, the girl summons a burst of energy, launching herself high into the air behind the tiger. With a powerful kick, she lands on the tiger's back, knocking it out cold with a single blow. Rein begins to sing triumphantly over her strength as the tiger starts to disappear from beneath her. Just as she faints, he scrambles to save what's left of his reputation and catches her before she hits the ground. When she wakes up and mentions she's hungry, he, despite being broke, scrounges up some food. Once her stomach is full, the previously hangry cat spirit finally starts talking. She introduces herself as Kanade and explains that she set out on a journey because she was bored with her quiet life in the mountains. She wandered into the forest during her travels, but had grown weak after not finding any food for 3 days, which is when the tiger attacked her. As they make their way back to the city, Rein shares his own tale of woe. Kanade, furious at how his team treated him, labels them as rude and arrogant. She then drops a bombshell. Rein is one of the rare beast tamers capable of taming cat people, and urges him to give it a shot. Flashbacks of being trapped in a fire as a child flood his mind, making him realize that having an ultimate species like Kanade as his companion might ensure he never faces such terror alone again. Steeling himself, he bites his thumb and lets the blood flow, starting the ritual for a permanent contract. As the drop of blood touches his other palm, a rune appears on his arm, and a binding spell forms around Kanade. To his immense relief, the contract is successful. Rein and Kanade are now bound together forever. He can't help but feel a mix of triumph and disbelief. His life just took a turn for the magical, and all it took was a bit of blood and a lot of guts. The next day, Rein proudly takes the 10 runes from the goblins and the 20 medicinal herbs he collected back to the guild. With these, he officially becomes an F-rank adventurer with the Horizon Adventurers Guild. He turns to Kanade and tells her they need to start taking up jobs immediately since he's too broke to afford food or lodging. As they're discussing their dire financial situation, a burly guy saunters up to them, clearly astonished to see an actual cat spirit in town. He rudely asks Kanade out for coffee, all while mocking Rein. Kanade, in full waifu mode, stands up for Rein, calling him her master. This only makes the guy laugh harder, and he challenges Rein to an arm wrestling match, with Kanade as the prize. Rein agrees to the match, determined to ensure this guy never bothers Kanade again. Everyone, including Rein, is shocked when he wins in the blink of an eye, injuring the brute's massive hand in the process. Rein can't help but marvel at his own unexpected strength, while Kanade beams with pride and the crowd cheers in disbelief. Natalie rushes into the lobby after hearing the commotion and immediately starts apologizing to Rein, explaining that the thug always causes trouble for everyone. When the gangster tries to provoke her, she nonchalantly slams his face into a table and drags him away. After another round of apologies, Kanade notices Rein's confusion about his newfound strength. She explains that contracting with an ultimate species massively boosts the tamer's stats. Kanade's initial disappointment in Rein's lack of knowledge quickly turns to excitement as she asks about their next job. Her enthusiasm is short-lived, however, when she learns that their next task is more herb gathering in a forest. Bored out of her mind, she watches as Rein contracts some rabbits and has them find the herbs in record time. Despite the mundane task, Rein's resourcefulness leaves her impressed, even if the job itself is as thrilling as watching grass grow. Suddenly, Kanade's sharp ears pick up distant screams. The duo rushes toward the sound and, from their hiding spot, see an old man being bullied by the Ebon Fangs, a notorious group of bandits. The adventurers he hired to protect him had fled in fear, leaving him defenseless. Rein feels compelled to save the man and charges out of the bushes with Kanade. He lands a solid punch in one goon's stomach, sending him sprawling to the ground. Another bandit swings a stick at him, but Rein ducks and delivers a heavy blow to the bandit's gut. Kanade, meanwhile, dashes to the merchant to ensure he's safe. With his new superhuman strength, Rein defeats the bandits in no time. The grateful merchant urges them to flee, warning that the rest of the gang will surely seek revenge. Rein decides to capture all the bandits. He tames a squirrel to guide them to the Ebon Fang's hideout. Once there, he makes a contract with a swarm of Arbies, a magical bee species whose sting can paralyze victims for 12 hours. He then sends Kanade to town to bring back adventurers and knights as reinforcements. As soon as the bees are unleashed on the bandits, chaos ensues. The bandits flail and stumble, their movements slowing as the paralysis sets in. As Kanade returns with reinforcements, Rein stands triumphant among the paralyzed bandits, feeling a mix of satisfaction and exhaustion. The reinforcements help round up the incapacitated Ebon Fangs, and the merchant thanks Rein profusely. Rein can't help but smirk, knowing he not only saved the day, but also proved his former team wrong in the process. Back at the hideout, the entire gang is scattered all over the cave, already paralyzed when Kanade arrives with the reinforcements. The adventurers quickly move in to arrest the goons, praising Rein for his clever use of the magical bees. They assure him that they'll handle the cleanup so he can relax a bit. Just as the group prepares to leave, loud roars echo from deeper within the cave. A bunch of C-rank king lizards, kept as pets by the Ebon Fangs, emerge, clearly having gone berserk. The adventurers freeze, and Rein realizes that the situation just got a lot more dangerous. Without hesitation, Rein jumps into action. He rushes at the nearest lizard, delivering a powerful punch to its chest and knocking it out. Kanade, not to be outdone, lands a solid kick to another lizard's jaw, sending it sprawling. As the battle intensifies, Rein directs the other adventurers to get the bandits out and escape, while he and Kanade handle the beasts. Rein moves swiftly, landing kicks and punches with precision, taking down the king lizards one by one. Kanade matches his pace, her movements fluid and deadly. Together, they make quick work of the creatures. Amidst the chaos, Rein can't help but reflect on his journey from a weak outcast in his former party to a powerful adventurer with superhuman strength and an ultimate species as his companion. Kanade's presence is a constant reminder of how far he's come. With her by his side, he feels invincible and ready to face any challenge, no matter how daunting. As they defeat the last of the king lizards, the cave falls silent, and a sense of accomplishment settles over them. The adventurers return, having secured the bandits, and are in awe of Rein and Kanade's teamwork. The merchant they saved earlier expresses his gratitude, praising Rein for his bravery and skill. Rein realizes that his new life as an adventurer is not only more exciting, but also more fulfilling than he ever imagined. He reminisces about the time where he used to work with the hero party. He then turned to Kanade and told her having her by his side is bringing all these achievements, and Kanade giggles in happiness. Capturing the Ebon Fangs earns Rein a promotion to E rank and a sizable reward. This windfall finally allows them to afford real food and buy some much needed equipment. They also find a comfortable lodge, but have to share a room because everything else is full. Rein sees Kanade jumping on the bed, screaming excitedly. He looked at her in shock, realizing it was going to be a long night. As they settle in for the night, Rein tells Kanade he'll be sleeping outside. Kanade, sensing his discomfort, reassures him that he can stay in the room. He insists she shouldn't trust anyone she just met. Rein warns her not to be naive as he starts to leave the room. Kanade stops him, her eyes earnest. She tells him she trusts him because she considers him a friend. Touched by her words and the genuine trust she shows, Rein decides to stay. That night, Rein sleeps soundly, exhaustion from the day's events overtaking him. Kanade, however, stays awake, her mind racing. She reflects on all the bad people who have tried to approach her throughout her life because of how rare and valuable she is. She feels a deep sense of gratitude for having met Rein, who tries to protect her out of genuine goodwill and care. In that quiet moment, she makes a silent vow to herself. She will help him heal from his past pain and be there for him through thick and thin, no matter what challenges they face. A week goes by with Rein and Kanade handling basic, peaceful tasks. They spend their days collecting herbs, delivering packages, and occasionally taming wild animals for the locals. It's a nice change of pace, but they both start craving something more exciting. One day, they learn that a notorious hooligan called the Guard Dog has taken over an important bridge, blocking passage for everyone. Natalie briefs them about the task, explaining that the Guard Dog is a massive beast and a significant menace to the kingdom. The reward for defeating the beast is enormous, and Rein's eyes light up with determination and a bit of greed. Tempted by the hefty reward, Rein immediately accepts the task. As they approach the bridge, they can feel the tension in the air. The once bustling pathway is now eerily quiet, and the sight of the imposing beast in the distance sends a shiver down their spines. Despite the danger, Rein's resolve strengthens, and Kanade stands by his side, ready to support him in the upcoming battle. At the bridge, they are immediately confronted by a huge red dragon that lands with a loud thud, sending out strong, blinding wind currents in all directions. As the dust settles, the dragon transforms back into its original form, a shape-shifting girl. Talk about getting the deluxe edition by mistake. She introduces herself as Tanya, the ultimate species of dragonoid, and declares that she is using this bridge for her training. Sensing their strength, she believes they would make the perfect opponents to hone her skills on. Before Rein can brace himself, Tanya Tanya rushes towards him at full speed and aims a karate chop at his face. He narrowly manages to dodge and block it at the last minute. Tanya then shoves him away and throws him into the air, but Rein lands on his feet with a graceful roll. Without missing a beat, she blasts a wave of fire in their direction, setting Kanade's tail on fire. Furious, Kanade launches herself at Tanya, aiming a powerful kick. Tanya blocks it effortlessly and counters with a punch. Kanade, quick to recover, blocks the punch and they exchange rapid attacks. Rein sees an opening and jumps up from behind Tanya, signaling Kanade to coordinate their attack. They both strike simultaneously, but Tanya blocks them with ease. She spins them around and hurls them into the air. While mid-air, she unleashes a strong wave of fire towards them. Reacting swiftly, they use their feet to push away from each other and avoid the flames, landing safely on the bridge. Realizing they can't overpower Tanya in hand-to-hand combat, Rein decides to use his Beast Tamer abilities. He tells Kanade to buy him some time while he works out a plan and dashes away from the scene. Kanade charges at Tanya, delivering a powerful punch that pushes her back. Before Tanya can regain her footing, Kanade attacks again, but Tanya blocks each blow with precision. Meanwhile, Rein, hiding in a corner, spots a bird and enters a temporary contract with it. He instructs the bird to bring its friends. The birds flock towards Tanya and start pecking at her, causing her irritation. She tries to shoo them away, boasting that they can't hurt her. Suddenly, her legs stop functioning and she collapses to the ground. Rein steps forward and reveals that the birds are poisonous. As the poison spreads through her body, Tanya surrenders. Rein approaches her, offering to help her in exchange for learning more about her abilities. After some persuasion from Kanade, Tanya agrees to join them. The three of them, now an unlikely trio, head back to the guild, ready to face whatever new adventures await. With Tanya's formidable strength and Kanade's unwavering support, Rein feels more confident than ever about the challenges ahead. Back in town, Rein and Kanade go to Natalie, who thanks them for their service. Natalie asks if Tanya is a dragon, but Rein quickly hides the truth, insisting she's just a human. Tanya keeps interrupting, saying she doesn't want him to speak on her behalf. Rein starts walking to the door, pulling Tanya along, with Kanade following, leaving Natalie thoroughly confused. Once outside, Rein asks Tanya to keep her real identity a secret, explaining that if people found out she was the guard dog, the entire town might panic. Tanya, however, proves difficult to control, challenging every strong person she sees. After notifying the guild that the bridge threat has been neutralized, Rein and Kanade take Tanya to a field outside town. They ask her to go as far away from town as possible and promise not to cause trouble elsewhere. Tanya confesses that she has grown attached to Rein and wants to join them on their adventures. She hugs Rein, saying she is starting to like him, which makes Kanade jealous, and she protests. Rein, trying to ease the tension, says he doesn't mind having Tanya with them and asks Kanade for her opinion. Though clearly jealous, Kanade reluctantly agrees. Rein then begins the ritual to make a contract with Tanya, similar to the one he made with Kanade. He pricks his finger to draw blood and starts the ritual. After sealing the contract, Tanya looks at the sign on her hand, signifying their bond. With Tanya now part of their team, they head back to town, ready to face whatever adventures come their way. Rein, now with his new dragon lady Tanya, is assigned to exterminate slimes. In the field, Kanade admits she's hesitant to take part in the job because she hates how sticky slimes are. Rein reassures her that Tanya can use her fire to defeat them instead of messy hand-to-hand combat. Kanade's excitement is almost palpable, as if she's just discovered that slimes come with a no-touch option. Rein finds it amusing that the two girls are bonding over their mutual dislike for slime goo. The team has struggled to hunt down slimes for a while, so Rein decides to transfer part of his soul and consciousness into a bird to scout the forest from above. Kanade and Tanya watch in awe, likely wondering if Rein moonlights as a magical Swiss Army knife. The bird soon finds a large group of slimes, and Rein leads his companions to them. Just as Kanade is about to throw a huge rock at the slimes, Tanya stops her, suggesting that Rein use his fireball instead. She explains that he gained some of the cat spirit's power when he bonded with Kanade, and now has dragon power from bonding with her. Rein, a bit skeptical, knows from experience that his fireball isn't usually strong enough to take out an entire swarm of slimes, but he focuses his magic and gives it a shot. The fireball he conjures is tiny, barely more than a spark. If fireballs were meant to roast marshmallows, this one could maybe toast an ant. Determined, Rein keeps trying, and to everyone's surprise, the fireball suddenly grows enormous, incinerating all the slimes in one go. Kanade and Tanya cheer, though it's hard to tell if they're more impressed or relieved that they won't be dealing with sticky goo today.
If you like this anime recap, please make sure to subscribe for more episodes, and make sure to check out our brand new anime recaps.